Some of my favorite places to play, like this is always one that comes to mind. So just super excited. It was obviously certainly hard to sit on the bench and have to watch last year, but my team played some good games here, so excited to be back and play in front of this crowd. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing? After last game, you're talking about your back and getting readjusted, and Steph was talking about how, look, as players get injured or whatever happens, you learn different kinks of your body and how to deal with it. So I guess two-part question, just how has your back been in the following week? And then what have you learned about your body and how to manage it over the last 8-9 months or so?
Yeah, I think first of all, I feel great. So
I jump on that table right
now. I think like the hardest part of injury, it's still something I'm really battling and kind of almost struggling with, is just like the mental hump of getting over everything. And like I understand my body almost too well to a point now, and it's probably something I wasn't enough in touch with before my injuries, and now I understand it very well. And so you just become hyper cautious to certain things. And you know, I think that moment in the game where, you know, obviously my back tightened up, I think I almost got confidence from that because I came back in and I played 8 more minutes. So, and I felt great the last 8 minutes. So I think it's something I can take confidence from, but it's going to take me a little bit to like really get over this mental hurdle of like trusting my body. And I was thinking about it later too. Like this is the first time I've played 30 minutes. Like even playing USA basketball, like I was playing 20, 22 minutes. We have so many players. We're just rotating in and out. And I ran 4.6 miles in that game on Saturday versus Dallas. So it's a lot of stress on somebody's body, and just the pace and the physicality of it too. So that's something I'm going to continue to get used to, but I feel really good. It's just continuing to work on the mental side of the injuries for myself. Yeah.
Caitlin, you mentioned enjoying playing here. You know, obviously you're friends with LeBron and Kobe, who's someone who inspired you, and you often wear Kobe's. What do you think about when you play here with him in mind, and are you wearing any special shoes today?
I've been wearing them in practice the last few days, but
Los Angeles, 10 months. That's how long Caitlin Clark has been fighting to get back, not just physically, but mentally. And even now, standing in the Crypto.com arena before taking on the Los Angeles Sparks, she's still being honest about something most athletes refuse to admit out loud. I think the hardest part of injury is something I'm still really battling and almost struggling with, just the mental hump of getting over everything. That right there, that's not a prepared answer. That's not media training talking. That's a 23-year-old superstar telling the world that coming back from injury is way harder than people think, and that the physical recovery might actually be the easier half of it. Because here's what nobody really talks about when star athletes go down. Everyone tracks the MRI reports. Everyone follows the rehab updates. Everyone counts the weeks until return. But the part that happens inside an athlete's head, that part doesn't show up in any injury report. And for Caitlin Clark, that invisible battle is the one she's fighting hardest right now. Clark suffered her season-ending injuries last July. Think about that for a second. July. That means she spent the rest of last summer watching from the sideline. She spent the entire WNBA offseason rehabbing. She came into this new season not knowing exactly what version of herself she'd find when the ball went up. One game into this new year, she already had to go to the tunnel, twice, to get her back worked on mid-game. Twice, while the game was happening, while cameras were rolling, while millions of people were watching. And she still came back out and played 8 more minutes. That detail matters more than any stat line. Before her injuries, Clark said she wasn't fully in tune with her body. She played through whatever she felt because that's what competitors do. That's what got her from Ames, Iowa to becoming the face of the WNBA in the first place. Pure relentless drive. You don't break records by listening to every ache and soreness. You push. You compete. You grind. But injuries teach you things that no coach, no trainer, no sports science team ever could. They force you to pay attention in a way that discomfort never does. And now, she says, she understands her body almost too well. I understand my body too well to a point now. It's something I wasn't in touch enough with before my injuries, and now I understand it very well. You just become hypercautious about certain things. Hypercautious. That word is loaded when you're talking about Caitlin Clark, because hypercaution is not in her DNA. The girl who drove the lane in packed arenas, the one who pulled up from 30 feet because why not, the one who played her way to becoming the most watched women's basketball player in history, she is not someone built for hesitation. She is someone built for attack mode. So when she uses the word hypercautious to describe herself, you understand just how much this injury has rewired her thinking. And you also understand why getting over that mental hurdle is genuinely hard. Here's the thing about sports psychology that casual fans often miss. When an athlete gets injured in a specific motion, a plant, a pivot, a landing, the brain files that motion away as dangerous. Every time that motion appears in a game, the brain sends a signal. Not a loud one, not a conscious one, just a fraction of a second of hesitation. A tiny moment of protection. And at the professional level, that fraction of a second is the difference between the old version of you and the comeback version. The greatest athletes in history have talked about this. It's not weakness. It's neuroscience. Your brain is literally trying to keep you safe based on information it received at your most vulnerable moment. And the only way to override it is repetition. Games, situations, moments where you push through that hesitation and nothing bad happens. Your brain slowly updates its threat assessment. You start trusting yourself again. Clark is in that process right now. And she knows it. When her back tightened up in the fourth quarter against Dallas, the kind of moment that would send most players spiraling with doubt, she didn't crumble. She went to the bench, got adjusted, came back, and finished the game. 8 more minutes. 4.6 miles total on her feet throughout the night. And here's what was remarkable about that. She said she actually gained confidence from it. That moment where my back tightened up, I think I almost got confidence from that because I came back in and I played 8 more minutes, so I felt great. It's something I can take confidence from. But it's going to take me a little bit to really get over the mental hurdle of trusting my body. That's maturity. That's growth. That's not the answer a scared player gives. That's the answer of someone who is learning a new relationship with their own body and finding a way to turn every small moment into building material. She's not pretending everything is fine. She's not giving a fake everything is great press conference answer. She's saying, this was hard, and I handled it, and that matters. Indiana head coach Stephanie White backed that perspective up, adding something important about young athletes in general. She pointed out that it's not uncommon for players Clark's age to discover body mechanics issues through injury. Sometimes you don't know how your back, your hips, your joints are really functioning until something forces the conversation. The injury wasn't just bad luck. In a strange way, it was information. White also spoke directly to how the team plans to handle workloads this season. Last year, injuries across the roster forced multiple players into heavy-minute situations that weren't ideal. The goal this year is smarter management, not reacting to crisis, but being intentional before crisis hits. And she confirmed that Clark would have no minutes restriction in Wednesday's game against the Sparks. That's trust. That's a coaching staff saying we believe in where she is. And it's also a reminder that the organization is invested in her long-term health, not just her short-term performance. 30 minutes. 4.6 miles. Back tightened up mid-game. Went to the tunnel twice. Came back out. Played through it. That was game 1 of this comeback. Every game from here builds on that. Every practice rep, every film session, every time she catches herself hesitating and pushes through anyway, all of it is slowly but surely rebuilding the neural pathway between her brain and her confidence. That pathway that says, your body can be trusted. You've done this before. You can do it again. The WNBA world has been waiting 10 months for Caitlin Clark. The casual fans who tuned in for the first time last season. The little girls who bought her jersey. The basketball community that watched the league's ratings hit numbers it had never seen before. Everyone is watching to see what this version of Clark looks like. But maybe the most important person watching is Clark herself. She's learning who she is after injury. And based on everything she said Wednesday in Los Angeles, she is not running from that process. She is walking directly into it, naming it out loud, and refusing to pretend it isn't happening. That kind of honesty from a player that talented, at this level of public attention, that's rare. And that's exactly why, 10 months after everything stopped, the story of Caitlin Clark's return is just getting started.